there, welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about a very common question, and personally I have been asked this question a couple number of times, and that is, what is the best roadmap to becoming a full stack developer? So in this era, full stack development roles and skills have become very high in demand, especially with the growth of startups. And so if you're someone who's into web or application development, it would really benefit you to have these skills and know how to develop both on the front end and on the back end. And so to start with, we're going to talk about who a full stack developer is and what does a full stack developer do. So a full stack developer is someone who is able to program a browser and also program a server. In other words, this is someone who is able to work on the front end and also work on the back end. So what is the front end? The front end is the visual, or rather the UI that users get to see. And what is the back end? The back end of an application or a website consists of a server and a database. And so the first step that I would recommend, especially if you're a beginner, is ensuring that you learn and master HTML and CSS. Be ready to take the time to learn the basics. The reason why I'm saying this is that these two are basically the foundation of web development. So by you knowing and mastering them, it's really going to help you, especially in your journey towards growing in web and front-end development. And so the next step that I would recommend after learning and mastering HTML and CSS is learning and mastering JavaScript. So JavaScript is a language that is a must learn for people who are into web development, and this is because it helps make your websites more dynamic and versatile. And so by learning JavaScript, you're going to be able to manipulate and play with your HTML and CSS and be able to make your websites more dynamic. When it comes to this step, if you're someone that really enjoys learning visually and really enjoys learning by seeing what you're doing, I think that you really get to enjoy this step because you really get to enjoy playing with JavaScript and seeing the countless number of things that you can do with JavaScript. So be ready to take the time to learn and master JavaScript because it's really going to help you, and it is really going to help form a strong basis, especially when it comes to front-end development and also back-end development itself. The third step after learning and mastering JavaScript, I would recommend that you get to learn a framework. So there are many frameworks out there that you can choose from, but personally what I would recommend is that you get to go online and search for what is trending at the moment. So for example, right now what is trending is React and Vue. And basically by choosing what is trending, you're going to be able to become updated on the current trends, and you're going to be able to learn something that would really help you, especially with the current market. And so after choosing the framework, be ready to learn the basics about it, be ready to play with it. And by playing with it, I mean that create an application with it, and trust me, you get to learn by building. Especially if you want to really accomplish your goal, you're going to really have to be building as you learn. And so after learning and mastering a framework, you're going to be ready to take the next step, and this is learning the backend side of things now. And so when it comes to the backend, this is another vast world that has many options that you can choose from. What I would recommend, especially if you're someone who's a beginner, is start by learning Node.js. This would be easier because you have already mastered and you already know how to work with JavaScript, and basically Node is in JavaScript as well. So it's really going to be easier for you to learn and master how to work with Node in the backend. And so after learning how to work with Node on the backend, you can choose from other languages as well. And personally, I would recommend Python because it's really becoming popular, especially in the data engineering and data science field. I can also recommend Ruby as well if you want to look into that, but do not be in a rush to learn and master these languages. Just take your time, because at the end of the day, what matters is not the number of languages that you know. What matters is, are you able to work with the language, and are you able to comfortably work with it, and are you able to develop and build something using the language? Because many a times there are people who brag and say that they are proficient in, let's say, 6 or 7 languages, but at the end of the day you find that they are not even comfortable with working with, let's say, 5 of those languages. So what matters is, are you you able to build something with the language that you have learned? Are you able to comfortably work using the language? So after learning and mastering the languages on the backend, I would recommend that you take your time to choose a database and learn how to work with the database. Personally, the databases that I recommend are MongoDB and Firebase. I would also recommend MySQL if you want to just know how databases work. So take your time to learn and master how databases work as well, and basically you'd be set when it comes to the backend. And so for most people, after learning and mastering the front end and the back end, you're basically already a full stack developer. But I would like to recommend one thing that I personally feel is very, very important and would really help you in your journey as well. And that is learning and mastering how to work with Git and GitHub. The reason why I'm saying this is that Git really helps you to track and modify your code base, and basically it should really help you to organize your code base. And while you're learning, it's really going to help you to know how to collaborate and work with people, especially if you want to get into the career or job world where you'll have to collaborate and work with people on a project. Learning and mastering how to work with Git is really, really helpful, and I would really, really recommend that you take the time to learn and master the basic Git commands and know how to work with Git and GitHub. And trust me, it's really going to save you a lot of time, especially when it comes to managing and organizing your code base. And so after learning how to work with Git or GitHub, after learning and mastering the front end and the back end skills, you're basically already set and are already a full stack developer. And so be ready to now venture into the career world if you're interested in it. Be ready to venture into creating your web application, creating your website, and trust me, it's really going to pay off in the end. And I really hope that you take this tip seriously, and I really hope that this really serves to help you grow and help you achieve your goal of becoming a full stack developer this year. So let's go for those goals, and I hope that you get to achieve them this year especially. So thank you so much, and please subscribe, and I hope to see you again on the next video. Thank you. Bye.